Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on our weekly series, Social Changers, produced by Social Change Warriors. I'm Catherine Felton Page. I am the founder and director of ACTT Social Change Warriors. We are a new startup program. We've been around about a year now, and this may be the first time that you've joined us. So we're really happy to have you and hope that we can educate you today and teach you a little bit about something you didn't know about. Our goal, our kind of power words are knowledge, power, action, change. So we believe that knowledge leads to power, power leads to action, and action leads to change. So we are a team of social workers. We have our masters in social work. There are several of us who have our licenses in social work, and we work together for the purpose of sharing knowledge, facts, and human interest stories that pertain to social change, social equality challenges, and social justice problems in our nation. So we convey all of our information using various platforms, articles, webinars, workshops, and like a video cast like we're doing today. And we truly believe, we really believe in what we stand for is the dignity and worth of all people and improved communities. We have a YouTube channel, we have a website, and we're also on social media. So I hope that you'll check us out. And if you ever need our help in your community, we are happy to help you. We have a contact form, and I'll be looking forward to meeting all of you at some point in the future if you require our assistance. Today, I'm really excited to share with you that I am pleased to have joining us today, Bryan Stewart, who is also a master of social work. He's also a life coach. He has been in the Gulf War. He is a veteran, and we thank him so much for his service. He's a certified Christian life coach for the past 12 years, and he's going to talk to you more about that. It's the Nation Initiative. And he's also been moving my camera around here so I can read it to you. He has a BA in social work from Sacramento State University and a master's from the University of Southern California. Bryan and I are colleagues, and also we are both alumni of USC. And he's going to tell us a little bit about what he's been up to since he graduated with his master's, and a little bit about his Christian counseling and academy that he went to. And he's just a really all-around fantastic person and a great social worker. And I know that you're going to enjoy meeting him. So I'm going to bring Bryan up here on the screen so that you can meet him. And we are going to chat with Bryan about what he's up to in the field of social work. Hi, Bryan. Oh, you got to unmute.
Yeah, I just had to look down.
You're still muted, my friend.
Like, where's the mute button?
Yeah. All right.
All right. So you hear me now?
We can. Gotcha.
All right.
So go ahead and just give us a brief introduction of yourself, Bryan.
All right. Well, first of all, my name is Bryan Kelton Stewart. So, our rhyming middle names, that's just really what connected us in the first place,
That's right. Felton and Kelton. I love it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We need to take this show on the road.
Absolutely. We are.
Look at us. Well, briefly, I am, really just who I am as a person, just a person who is committed to helping folks become the best version of themselves. And I was blessed throughout my life, since middle school, with opportunities to, actually perform and support people in that role. So really, I know there's different titles and you kind of put stuff out there about what I did. It's like, wow, did I do all that? But, I kind of look at that stuff and it really all relates to the same thing that I've been doing all of my life. It's really just a commitment to helping my fellow human beings become the best version of themselves in whatever way, in whatever manner I can be able to do that. So that's pretty much who I am.
So wonderful. So do you feel, I've talked to other people about this before, but do you feel that getting into the work of social work, macro, you and I are both in macro social work, which for the lay person, that's actually community social work opposed to therapy, which is considered micro social work. Do you feel it's a calling? Do you really believe that it's a calling that we just get at some point in our lives, and that there's not a lot of outward sources that contribute to that. It's just a calling inwardly coming to you from something. Or do you think it's from a continuous education and different jobs that you do have that eventually lead you to social work? What's your kind of thought about that?
Well, I think, I would say most of it, is a calling because, I really, just came into, to social work with this idea that, I'm going to just strictly work with veterans. I was going to work with homeless veterans, and through my various internships and everything else and coursework, I discovered, I really started discovering really the populations that I'm really called to serve. But really, most of it, I believe, is calling. I sometimes just kind of explain that to some of the folks that I support, in that how some folks kind of look at someone performing some kind of a duty or whatever, and they kind of say, well, I don't see how you can run a marathon. That just, to me, that's just beyond me. I mean, really, I don't see how you can do it. And the answer is like, dude, it's because you're not made to do this. This is what I live and breathe. This is my calling. This is who I am. So, and everyone has a different type of a calling, and my faith kind of informs that there's a purpose and plan for your life, and that kind of relates to it as well. But, again, I believe that if you really chase who you are, what you're made of, how you're made, and who, just who you are, you'll eventually find out what you're called to do. That is your life mission, is to find out who you are, how you're made, and what you're called to do, and how you're supposed to contribute those talents and gifts and skills and abilities you have to making the world a better place. And everyone has a purpose, and everyone has a mission to do to help make the world a better place. You just have to discover how you're made to do it. So it's a call.
Absolutely. Very, very, very well said. Fantastic. And I think it's important for people to understand too, that not one person's calling is better than another's. If it's your calling, it's your purpose. And if you're doing good works with it, or if you're contributing to society with it, and it makes you happy with your life, so you can live a happy, content life while you're contributing to society, that's really the ultimate. That's what we want for everyone. My calling to be a police officer at one time isn't better or worse than your calling at whatever you were doing at that time in your life. Maybe whether you were a firefighter or a doctor or a nurse, or working at AT&T, helping people get their phones and deal with issues with communication, or maybe you're a lawyer or a insurance agent. Whatever your calling is, it's important, because it takes all of us doing our callings, performing our callings, to make the world go around and to be a better place for everyone.
Well, even just, I love how you said that, just basically just one calling isn't better. It's like the world is a puzzle, and every puzzle piece is not, one puzzle piece is not better than the other. But they just have different functions to make the puzzle work. And so it's really important that we respect other folks and their calling, because they're providing something that's essential that you're not able to do, or either not able or willing or called to do.
Correct.
To again make the world a better place, and to really, fit into that puzzle we call the earth. So honestly, I respect anyone that's living their life with the goal of using their skills, talents, abilities, and everything else to make the world a better place. No matter what that looks like in terms of job title and function.
Right.
So,
right. Absolutely. And it doesn't always require a college education. I'm very pro education, because I actually love being educated. So you and I both do, or we wouldn't have gone back to grad school when we were I was in my 50s, you were in your 40s, right? So we wouldn't have done that if we didn't love education. So I am a big proponent for education, but I'm also a proponent for doing what makes you happy and what is your calling. And if your calling is to do a profession that might not require secondary education, then great, go for it and get whatever training or skills you need to perform that job. My father never went to college. He was a bus driver when I was a child, a very important job, necessary for our livelihood and communities in our towns and cities. And then he went on to be a driver license examiner. He was the one who gave the road tests to well, he didn't give one to me because that would have been unethical, but he gave one to a lot of my friends. So, and that was a calling for him. He really enjoyed meeting teenagers and helping them to learn how to drive, which is such a huge part of our lives when we're growing up. It's like one of the first things we remember when you think about it, that we got to do independently outside of our parents, was to learn how to drive a car and leave the home by ourselves in a vehicle. So he had a really interesting career. It didn't require education. It required training, obviously, and education, but he didn't go to college. And so sometimes I'm concerned that we put so much emphasis on college, and then maybe certain folks may look down on those that didn't go to college. And that's not good, because not all jobs require college, but we need all jobs for our country and our nation to survive and to function. So, exactly. So thanks. I was hoping we could have a little discussion about that, because you and I have talked about the calling before, and I've spoken to other people about it. So,
well, I'm going to give just real anecdotal, just kind of support that just real quick. I would tell students, at the community college, you have, at the community college, you can, receive a certificate in some kind of training, or you can in some kind of vocational training, or you can receive an actual college degree. You can receive a college degree for transfer. I mean, just a wide variety of ways you can take advantage of community college. But I always tell students that I support that Monday always comes. Mm-hmm. Monday always comes. And here's what that looks like. It's Friday afternoon. This person was told that he's great with his hands. He's able to figure problems out. And he ended up going to college, right? He went to college, went into debt, but went to college and is making, $150,000 a year as an engineer. So he's working, but, that clock hits 5:00 on Friday, and he's just like the Flintstones. I know I'm aging myself, but you remember when in the beginning of the and they're all headlights and tailpipes. They're gone. They're out of bedrock. They're just running, right? And that's what he's feeling. And then he goes out Saturday. He's single. He goes out, hangs out, and he's having a good time with his friends. Sunday comes along. He's and he didn't get any sleep. Now he didn't get any sleep from Friday night to Saturday, but he's just amped that the weekend came. He stays out again all night Sunday night. They get him up early in the morning because he's a football fan, and he's having that barbecue. He's had barbecue sauce all over his face. He's having a good time. But then 3:00 hits on Sunday, that sense of dread. Yeah. That sense of dread that Monday's coming. Now he's making $150,000 a year, but he still has to go back and spend most of his life doing something that everyone told him that he was good at, but he's just really not into. Right. Now take this same individual, same Friday, but he found out that he's just fascinated with plumbing. He's fascinated. His uncle was a plumber. He's like, I want to do that. That's the kind of work this is great. And then on Friday, instead of at 5:00, he's ready to get off. There's this problem he just can't figure out. But he knows he's trying to stay overtime. They're like, dude, you're spending overtime. So I got to figure this out. He spends his weekend not thinking about dreading Monday. He spends his weekend thinking, how can I figure that out? And then on Sunday, just same scenario, he gets that shower revelation. And now he's really anxious. He's like, he cannot wait to get back to work at his $40 an hour, $50 an hour job that probably pays a lot, a little less than his engineer job, but he can't wait to get back because this is who he is. Yeah. So yes, one piece is not more important. One piece is not. No, you have to get in where you fit in, because each person has a vital role to play to make this world a better place. So yeah,
I love that. I love that. And I love the way you have to get in to fit in, and kind of reminded me a little bit of my mom while you were talking about that, because she started out as a legal secretary, did not go to college. And I was a baby. She was 20 years old and had to take care of me. And then she had my sister. So she became a stay-at-home mom for a while, which was not atypical for the 1960s. And then she thought, I'm going to get back into this, and went back into legal secretary, but she wasn't looking forward to it. Right. Over the weekend, same exact thing, she's like, God, I want more. So she started testing and worked her way up to become a paralegal investigator for a very high level government. That's all I can say. But that was all through what you said. She wasn't satisfied. So she took, charge of her life and she made it happen. She made it so that she could look forward to going into work on Monday and contributing to society and not dreading it, like you were saying, over the weekend. So great. I love that. I love that analogy a lot. And yes, I do remember the Flintstones. I'm older than you.
Oh,
so
man.
Tell me a little bit about the Nathan Initiative.
Wow, the Nathan Initiative. Basically, what that is kind of the umbrella, just entity that houses my coaching and consulting and mentoring business. And what it is Nathan. It's like, who the heck is Nathan? Well, Nathan was a prophet of old who advised King David. And he was the one that basically told King David when he, everyone knows about Bathsheba and things that he did. And he told King David, hey, there's this guy that basically went in and sent a soldier out there, his general out there, because he was having an affair with his wife, had the guy out there, sent him to the field and ended up getting killed. And this person was blah, blah, blah. And David was like, man, whoever that person is, send them to me. I'm going to take care of it. And then the prophet said, hey, wait a minute, David, that person was you. And it caused him to repent, write all these Psalms and everything else. But he was an honest advisor and supporter of this person who basically told him the truth and advised him and guided him to help him to live out and become the person that he was meant to be. And so mine is an initiative, sort of modeled after Nathan, to tell people the truth about themselves, help them discover who they are so that they can also be able to make a positive contribution. And under that is, I named my coaching and, coaching consulting practice, Kingdom coaching. So when you go to the website, you'll see a bunch of Kingdom stuff. But what it is I'm particularly focused on disproportionately impacted populations and more specifically, Latino males between the ages of 18. I mean, I have a specific population I really like to target, but Latino Black males between 18 and 30 to help them to really find out and discover who they are in reality, not what the media says about them, not what society says about them, but who they truly are, and to convince them that they have a positive purpose. And like I would tell some of the guys in our vernacular, I don't care what Nene and Ray said about you and said, "Ooh, you're a oops baby." I truly believe that there's accidental parents, but there's not accidental people. And so, there's a reason why and a purpose for you being here. So I'm here to just kill the lies that tell you that you're not worthy of being on this earth. You're not worthy of your calling. You are here to make a positive contribution. And the pursuit of that is where your real peace is. Your peace lies in that pursuit. Your peace doesn't lie in money. Your peace, on that pursuit of your purpose, because if you chase after profit, you'll always be chasing after profit. There's a lot of millionaires that kill themselves.
That's right.
But if you chase after purpose, for some reason, profit chases after you. You end up being you just get a check.
Yeah.
And so that's basically what the coaching part of it is. The second part is, I want to help community colleges to come up with academic success programs for their disadvantaged populations. That's based upon their culture, their understanding of things, like I built at Solano Community College. And the third piece of that, the coaching, the mentoring, trying to think of the other part of it. Well, basically, those are the main two pieces that I'm involved with the Nathan Initiative. So that's pretty much what I do. At least
fantastic. Do you ever hear back from those that you helped or those that you counseled and with success stories or how they're doing and how their life has worked out for them?
Oh my God, all the time. In fact, this past Thursday, I had an individual who was justice system involved, was on probation back in 2013, was on for 3 years, was on just the trajectory was just really bad. African American, Pacific Islander. But then he sent me a text message. When I communicate with a lot of these guys that I continue to coach them, whether they're in college or not, just dozens and dozens of individuals. But this particular individual, sent me a video, and it was his graduation video from Cal State East Bay, and he was graduating, right? And he just celebrating. It's like, wow, I'm formally incarcerated. I'm just a really good guy. But then he sent me a text message, like maybe 9 hours later, in a panic. Like, oh my God, what do I do now? But the thing is, he was able to just really understand who he was. He knew he needed to have this 4-year college degree and eventually get into law school to be able to be and do who. But the thing is, he contacted me because he's like, we haven't had a coaching session. It's just him texting in and telling me what the progress is. And once he hit that goal, I'd say the most dangerous period in a person's life is when they hit a goal. Because else to reach for, that's when panic mode sits in. So I had to sit him down. I work for probation. I had him come up to my office over there. It's like, man, listen, I need you to calm down. You're where you're supposed to be right now. You're going to be okay. We're going to work on the next step. So I hear from these guys all the time. Because one of my mottos is this too. One of my mantras is, again, King David, is that he had someone that was speaking into his life and telling him the truth. That was his prophet. But he also had contemporaries, Jonathan, that they, peer mentorship, the peer thing.
Right.
But he was also raising King Saul as his child. So if you're a person that's really trying to move forward, you better have someone that's helping you and pushing you along, a peer mentor or peer, someone who can kind of bounce ideas, and somebody else that you're pulling up as well. So that's the model that I use, and I try to get these guys to follow as well and model as well.
Fantastic. I'm so happy to hear about your work and the success stories that you've had. And I'm sure there's challenges and difficulties all along the way, because whenever you're mentoring someone or counseling or if you're a therapist, there's always going to be the bumps in the road and the setbacks, the step backs. But overall, I wish there were more people out there like you doing this kind of work, because I feel it's so necessary. I want to talk to you a little bit about the whole concept, and this could be a little controversial, but you and I won't allow it to be. But I know it is out in the media and out in the political world. Hand up versus hand out, right? We hear that all the time, and it's always been a little, it sticks me a little bit, for lack of a better way to say it, because I don't feel there has to be one or the other. I truly believe, maybe it's my unique core helper person, social worker person that I've always had since a child. I believe it can be both, because I totally believe there are places in life where you can't get the success, you can't get where you're going without the help first. So it can't just be a hand up. It has to be a handout for a little while. Then it can transition to a hand up. So I'm not thrilled with the people that are handout versus cut and dried. I want to know your thoughts on that.
Well, I think basically, again, I go back a lot of times to my faith, because there's just some universal truths. I think there's one. I think I don't know if it's Joshua. He says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. A lot of those folks that get into this kind of fight where, in fact, just another version of it is in probation. They don't like social workers being there because they say that some kind of hug-a-thug program. So that's kind of another variation of it. But the thing is as just taking all emotion out of it, everyone just really acts on what they feel is a logical step or a logical thing to do. Everyone operates on what they feel is the right thing to do. I don't care who it is. And so, what our job is to, those who feel that the right thing to do is to steal, if the right thing to do is to, to involve themselves with drugs or any other kind of behavior that society deems unacceptable. Our job is to find out why they feel this is the right thing to do, and help them to really discover what they really want is peace. They want to be able to live a normal life without stress and without anything. So our job, because a lot of folks that are put in these positions where they're engaged in activity that society does not deem appropriate,
right?
They're in a lot of times they're in a situation that they don't see any other options.
Right.
We look at our folks that are homeless, and I'm here in California. You could understand why the economic pressures could lead folks to try to find an escape. And then when they try and find that escape, it's like, oh, it's only temporary. It's only one hit. And that hit turns into an addiction. That addiction turns into not being able to go to work the next day. That not going to being able to go to work the next day results in you being fired and being unable to get another job, because that reference, when they reference your old employer, they're going to see what your activities were. So it's a difficulty. And then that leads to more, drug use and more. And then you find yourself outside.
Right. Exactly. And then once you're outside, getting back is really difficult.
It is because difficult.
Right. Without an address, clean clothes, a place to take a shower. But how are you going to get hired? So you're in this conundrum, and that's where I get a little frustrated too, where sometimes you'll read this in the media, on social media, where people will say, well, when I see a person on the side of the street holding up one of those signs, or they're panhandling, I'll yell out the window to them, hey, McDonald's is hiring, or hey, Walmart is hiring. I'm like, that's not a solution. That's not a solution. And that's actually, they may feel that it is. That person at that time may feel, okay, I'm trying to tell that person where they can go get a job, but it's not that simple. It's much more complicated than that, because you really have to have things in place in order for those other things to happen. And that's where the handout almost has to happen first, and then the transition into some type of shelter where there's some type of training, job training, and because you can't have, it's the chicken and the egg. Yes. You can't have housing without a job. You can't have a job without housing.
Right.
It's just a very frustrating conundrum.
It's extremely frustrating in that, we just can't, we all I ask is just let's just treat each other as humans.
Right.
Let's just treat each other as humans. You have to be curious to wonder, why would someone put a needle in their arm? Why would someone smoke this drug? Why would someone shoot someone that looks like them in terms of Black violence? I mean, you have to wonder, wait a minute, if we're human and they're doing this, there might be something that's going on in their lives to make them feel that this is the rational thing to do. So if they feel there must be something that's wrong in their lives that I don't have going on. There must be layers in their lives that I don't have. So it's like we have a problem with empathy and looking at people in their context.
Right.
If we were able to do that, then I believe that we would be in a better position to be able to change some of the issues. But we have to start off by looking at each other as human beings.
Yes, and understanding each other's backstory. Everybody comes with a backstory. And too many times in this society, we judge people by, the old saying that our parents taught us when we were very little children, don't judge a book by its cover. It's so true. There's so many, like you were saying, layers to a human being as to their plight and why they are where they're at. We could talk about this for hours. We could invite in more of the Social Change Warriors team and talk about this for hours. And it's great to talk about, because at least it feels like we're having a conversation. So it feels like we're trying to do something. Otherwise, it's just such a frustration. Because I could drive out right now today, 5 minutes from my house, and I will encounter someone on the street with a sign. And I know that I've talked with this person before. They're afraid of shelters. They've been robbed there. and they don't want to go to the shelter. So I have given him a hand out a few times. I've also offered to give him a hand up. Can I help you go to another shelter, another transitional area? Oh, no, I'm fine. And he's a disabled war vet. I mean, he served his country like you did. And now he has obviously PTSD or some type of an issue with his health. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because you just feel so helpless. But at least if we continue to have conversations as social workers and as community members, we can hopefully someday find more of a solution to our homelessness and to, like you were saying, other things that lead people into drugs, alcohol, or violence, things that keep them from their purpose, finding their passion for their life, because they're stuck and they can't get there. So
I want to applaud you for just letting that person feel like they're seen.
Right.
So you're doing so much just by acknowledging this person, just acknowledging them and not judging them. That pays huge dividends in their lives, because they're overlooked so much. So I just want to applaud you and thank you for helping, whoever it is, my brother or sister in arms that's struggling right now. So that's you're being human. And so, and I go back to my faith, but it said not to grow weary in well doing, for in due time you will see the reward. So everything you're doing, it serves a good purpose. So don't feel you're wasting your time and be frustrated.
Oh no, I know I don't. And I know there's many other people out there like you and I that want to we have empathy, and we want to, sometimes you have to teach empathy. Not all of us are born with it. I was fortunate to be born with it. I know you were born with it. Many social workers were, but I've also met people in our profession who don't have a lot of empathy. It's not something that comes natural to a lot of people, but I do believe it can be taught. Yeah. I really do. So through experience. So what's on the horizon for Bryan?
Ooh, man, just, really just trying to be ready to receive whatever mission comes next. Because, I'm trying to, continue with this, with working with the coaching. I continue to consult, with folks at the college that are running programs. I can't spend as much time as I used to because my commitments now with Solano County probation.
Right.
And the scary thing about this position is I'm the only social worker providing social services to an entire county. So I'm on the road constantly, either doing home, just checking in on welfare checks and helping folks just get their social security system or eligibility benefits. I mean, I'm just working, but the bottom line is whatever needs to be done, it just needs to be done. So that's what I'm doing right now, but I'm just willing to do whatever it takes.
Hey, one of my students, when I was field instructing for USC and for the Sischke group, Edmund, he did a whole webinar on recidivism. I think you and I might have to get together and have another visit on recidivism, because we could do like kind of a hybrid video cast webinar, because I don't think a lot of people understand it and what can be done in the community to decrease recidivism rates. Absolutely. And to help people stay out of jail, not go back to jail, because a lot of the return population that goes back is because they don't have resources. They don't have a hand up or a handout. They don't have anything. They just get out with $100, 1 month's worth of prescription. If they have a mental illness, see you later. That's what we do. So, I think you and I need to get together again, and we'll meet and we'll put together a little webinar on recidivism for our fellow viewers that are interested.
Yeah, that would be important. I think that's something that's important. So we can.
All right.
We can work on that.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me today and having this discussion. It's been just an honor and a pleasure to get your insight on so many important issues that have to do with social justice, social change, and, like I said, just the betterment of all people. That's really what we're all about here at Social Change Warriors. So I'm going to close off for today, everyone. I'm going to put up our contact info again, so that if you are interested in getting a hold of me or any one of my team, go back to my, missed it. Again, we are the Agents of Change training team, Social Change Warriors. We believe in knowledge, power, action, and change. And if you want to reach us, please check us out on YouTube, Social Change Warriors, and our website, socialchangewarriors.org. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and be kind to everyone out there, please. Thanks, everyone. Take care.